Let's move!
Reloading, reloading! I'm dead, I'm dead!
She was afraid of me. It's like the closer I got to somebody, the more afraid of me they became.
Get down low.
I think it's a case of figuring out who we are in context of being here at home.
I asked for an M4 because I had a SOT. I just took the M4. I took out my plate carrier, my vest. I stuffed my pockets. I took 3 mags. And took the M4 and I just started running.
26 minutes each.
I started crossing, and all of a sudden I started hearing like little snaps, and I was like, I was running through the river, so I couldn't really tell. I could tell, but I didn't. I was so focused on just getting to the truck, it wasn't clicking on what it was. Then I realized, oh crap, this sucks. And I started running up towards the truck, and I just remember I could not run fast enough. I was trying as hard as I could. I just kept running. I was running so fast that I couldn't keep up with myself. And as I started running up the hill towards the truck started turning around and leaving. I remember thinking, I'm getting shot at. I have 3 mags. And instantly I was just like, well, I'm a dead man. In my head,
it's that collapse of identity, that collapse of collective structure and purpose. From a medical standpoint, PTSD is a disorder, not a sickness. It's like taking all these elements of a person's psyche and putting them in the jar, and when you're born, they're kind of lined up a certain way, they kind of escalate a certain way, and then PTSD is like shaking up that freaking jar a lot. And to each their own, individual experiences vary. You still have all of those facets, and they're still in your head, but they're not in the same order anymore, necessarily. And they may not be working together the same way they were. And a couple of them might be a little more damaged than the other ones. It's hard to say. And readjustment disorder is not exactly the same thing, but it certainly plays a crucial role in that concept of the jar being shaken up. Because part of how you readjust is based upon those facets that you have that are in that jar. And they are in that jar, but it's kind of hard to get to them sometimes. It might be off key or off track, and you might have thought, well, I will go and do this and this and this because I have X, Y, Z. Push comes to shove, you get out and you join the civilian world, and it might take a lot more effort than expected. And you might realize that some of the answers that you thought you had, and you kind of knew where they were at and how to use them, isn't the case anymore. And maybe they're off by a little bit, or maybe you gotta shift fire by a lot. It's hard to say.
And I was a Army Black Hawk pilot.
Warrant officer?
Yes, Chief Warrant Officer, 2nd class.
Okay.
I went to Afghanistan.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I miss what I did. It was one of the few times that I felt needed, and I think that's part of why we actually want to go back, is that we feel like we're good at doing something, and we come back here, and all of a sudden we're awkward, we're out of place, and these people, we look around and they don't understand us, and they're in their own small little worlds, and we don't fit into that world anymore. The things that we say don't fit in, the things that we do don't fit in, and you want to go back to where you were the best, where you did what you did, and you want to grab civilians and say, you know what I did? Do you have any idea? Yeah, they don't understand it, and that's on them, but we want to go back where we're comfortable, and not only where we're comfortable, but where we mattered. Here, we don't matter, and even there, we might be part of a whole system that's going on, and we're just one soldier among many, but we're doing a job, and we feel important.
What is your In your understanding of what you've done in PTSD, how do you think that changed being a female versus being a male?
The violence of emotion isn't necessarily there, but the emotions still are. Mine's different, just like you said, everybody's individual. So even the females, I don't necessarily connect to, but the men seem to take their emotions out in a much stronger way.
Primal?
Very much so, yeah. And I still have, like, you still have the anger, you still have the adrenaline, the need for it. You still have these things, you just express them in a different way. Well, I try to avoid it now, actually. I don't talk about it. For me, it's something that I did in the past, and because it's something that I wanted to do and I can't do it anymore, I sidestepped the question, and then other people, like my ex-husband, would bring it up, and they'd be like, oh, she's being, modest, and she's really a Black Hawk pilot, and I don't want to talk about that because I'm embarrassed.
Do you think it's something you should be ashamed of or embarrassed for, though?
No, but it's something that I wanted to do and I can't do now, and
You feel
it's hard for me to deal with.
Just private.
I think it's a case of figuring out who we are in context of being here at home with our families, with our friends, with school and bills and normal life. I think the war is always going on. I think there is no going back from being a sheepdog, from being a wolf. I think we can only live among sheep. I think it's impossible to go back. And maybe that's the way it's designed to be. Maybe that's for the better. Ultimately, I know I wake up every day and I sell to myself that I am tame, that I am docile, that this is who I am. Office work, phone calls, that I am not a sheepdog, that I am not a wolf, that there is no need for me to be a warfighter today, and that this is the life that I have chosen, this is the life I have built now, and this is who I am now. The internal struggle is that my brain, my mind, doesn't believe that. So every day, in a very real sense, I'm fighting a war, a battle every day. And I am not alone. All of us are fighting a battle every day to stay here, to remain here, to remain complacent with this society, with the things that we cannot control, the things that we wish we could control. We fight a battle, internal and sometimes external. And sometimes the casualties and the price of that battle is all over the news, is all over the media. It's in your movies, in your books. Sometimes it's happening right in front of you. Sometimes it's happening to you or me. I am not alone. I am a husband and a new father and a business owner, a college student and graduate. I'm a man. I'm a nerd. I'm a poet. I'm a muscle car fanatic. I am an American warfighter, and I am not alone. And you can help.